This last subroutine, we used if statements, and for the next one, I wanted to just play around with do loop, which is where we go around and around and around until we get what we'd like. Once again, go ahead and right-click, insert a new module, and I'm going to copy and paste the old code into there. And this time we're going to modify it to have a do loop. Okay, so here's our new module. And rather than just reassigning our x to some random number, it's probably going to be better if we ask for that information again. So right here, I'm going to go ahead and delete this. And sometimes it's better coding. If you have the same calculation going on in a couple of different places, it might be better to just send the computer back up to the line where that calculation was. Okay, so here we go. Let's go ahead and say do until, and what we need is for x to be less than or equal to 5. Use Control-C, Control-V as much as you possibly can. And for this one, what we're going to do is we're going to open up that input box again and say enter a number less, maybe the second time around we'll kind of emphasize that we want something less than 5. We can maybe give them a little error statement too. Error, enter a number less than 5. Okay, and this is probably not very good. This will loop around and loop around for infinity until it gets what it wants. It's going to be very, very stubborn. And then when it finally escapes this, what we want it to do is go back up. So we're going to go ahead, I'll just call this line 1. So what we want to do is we want to go back up to line 1. And then this time around, it'll hit the first chunk of this if statement, and it should grab this first chunk of the message box again. Okay, so this is a little bit bad, but it's a good example of a do loop, and then also a GoTo statement. So let's try this out. Shall we try it out with our F8 so we can watch to see where it's skipping around to? So I'll go ahead and put my cursor up here at the first line and hit F8. And let's see. Oh, I forgot to change my name. So we need to give it a new name. Let's try that one more time. Stop and F8. Sub or function not defined. So here's a good little error analysis. See how this is actually black text? I need a space in there. And you always kind of go back and forth with your code. Always just add one little chunk at a time because there's always going to be errors in it. You'll see now that I added a space in there, it's blue. So let's try this one more time. I'm going to hit F8. And now this will get our input box up, enter a number less than 5. Let's start with a number 8. Okay, so if x is less than 5, and it wasn't, I put 8 in there. So now it's going to jump to else because I have x is 8. And you can see down here in the locals window what is defined as what down here. And we can watch that change. Okay, so I'm going to hit F8, and now we've hit our do loop, and we should be pulling up a new input box. Okay, error, enter a number less than 5. Let's say I'm really stubborn, I'll change it to maybe 9 this time instead. I don't know. Okay, so it's 9. I've hit the end of my loop, and now where is it going to go? Okay, loop, up, back to the start, right? Okay, so I can keep going through this. There's 10, right? And it's going to keep being stuck in this loop over and over and over again. And there's no output. Usually for a good program, you want to put some kind of a limit so you're not in a loop for millions and millions of rounds. Okay, so now we'll do something good. I'll enter 3. Now I understand. Okay, there's my number 3. And it has jumped to line 1. It's done the calculations. And now we have the square root of 5 minus 3 is, there you go, square root of 2. Okay, yay. So that's the do loop. It's going to go round and round until it gets what it wants, and then it'll execute something after some condition has been satisfied.